Hello, 'tis I, Bob Holman, for Secret Horror. 1974 was a stellar year for horror fiction. Two giants of the genre would publish their first books. Stephen King in the USA would release Carrie, and in the UK, James Herbert's The Rats. Both became massive hits and made each writer the master of their genre in their respective countries. Bestseller! Herbert supposedly became inspired to write The Rats while watching Todd Browning's 1931 film Dracula, especially the scene where Renfield describes his recurring nightmare of hordes of rats. In the book, we see a scourge of mutants, a new strain of fearless rats the size of small dogs who mass in numbers and attack and eat and eat and eat. Their obscene, protruded, razor-sharp teeth butcher human flesh down to the bone. Were these black, supercharged rats brought to London from abroad and then mate with the relatively docile local rats to form a new breed? Who knows? Who cares? To make it worse, if you are, quotes, lucky enough, end quotes, to survive the bites of these monster rats, the next day you die a horrible, painful death resulting from the toxins in their saliva. 'Tis a new black plague. The book opens with a horrifying attack on a baby and its mother as she tries to save the child. The descriptions of the mutilated baby are graphic and set the tone for the entire book. No one is safe. All taboos are broken. Herbert revolutionizes, modernizes the horror story in post-war Britain. The super rats inhabit bombed-out remains of the war in poor and desolate parts of London. Places ignored by the authorities and society until the frequency of the attacks leads to an extraordinary set piece. You are now on the tube, on a stalled underground train full of passengers. Claustrophobia and entrapment permeate the landscape. There's nowhere to run. No one is spared. And then, and only then, when the rich and the poor are attacked as one, does the government mobilize to devise a plan to exterminate the killer rats. Guiding us throughout is an everyman, Harris, a school teacher who is one of the first to witness a rat attack on one of his students. Harris is the lens through which the reader sympathizes with all the characters in the book, the one who dedicates his time, his life, to respecting and individualizing their lives, their hopes, before they are shredded to shards by the rats. Now, this is a whole different approach from the slasher films of this era that treated their characters like slabs of meat. I was especially moved by the chapter dedicated to Mary Kelly. Mary Kelly, a working-class woman who lost the love of her life in the war, falling upon hard times and ultimately becoming unhoused and a prostitute or sex worker. Is she an homage to the Mary Kelly, who was the last victim of Jack the Ripper? Surely you recall. What the rats do to her is unimaginable, but is it also an act of pity? The book takes on allegorical dimensions, as the best horror writing always does. The Rats was written in the golden age of horror. Just the previous year, The Exorcist had been released in theaters, frightening a whole generation, making the devil and evil real and living next door. The 1970s were absorbed by this fear. The biblical apocalypse was always right around the corner. The devil was made real in the popular films of the era. The Omen, Rosemary's Baby, Carrie. Hollywood blockbusters bought in completely to the cosmic catastrophes, the earthquakes, the meteor collisions, the raging fires and torrential tsunamis. The plague was unleashed in films, swarms of killer bees, spiders, piranhas, and even giant mutant rabbits, all on the attack. But 1974 would be remembered not for giant flesh-eating rats, but another big ravenous animal, Peter Benchley's Jaws, about a man-eating shark. James Herbert never got the success he deserved in the USA, the one that he got in the UK. Jaws took a huge bite out of rats.